Hey there, and welcome to my one-year review of my 2021 Intech Soul Horizon. So it's been just a little over a year since I received it, and we've gone on lots of camping trips with it, and I wanted to tell you, my dislikes about it and the things that I still love about it. And at the end of the video, we are going to talk about whether or not we think that this is still the right camper for us. So I'm going to start with my dislikes first, and then we are going to go back over to things that I am loving still. Alright, first things first, let's talk about the bed. So the bed is still incredibly difficult to make, but I don't know what else I would expect but the bed where all four corners are tucked away into something. I have talked about how I have Betty's bedding on the bed, and while it does kind of make it easier, it kind of doesn't at the same time. It makes it look neater. I only have to put like the fitted portion on the bed, but I still have to make the bed. We try to be really mindful of making sure we get in the bed squeaky clean so that I don't have to wash the sheets after every single trip. Depending on what we've done that weekend and how long we've been in the camper, if we've only slept in there for 2 nights, we may try to go 2 or 3 trips, maybe even 4, before I wash the sheets, because I hate making the bed so much. Now, I didn't realize this until after I got the Betty's bedding, that there's another company called Quick Zip, and I would like to eventually try them in the future, because it is something that you only have to put the fitted sheet on once. And then the actual middle part of the zippered fitted sheet zips off, and you just wash that and then zip it back on. I would like to try that in the future, but it's just not in the budget for right now. I have a lot of expensive things that I'm wanting to do, but that is one thing that I want to try. Kimberly from Couch Potato Camping has reviewed that on her channel, so be sure to go and check that out. But every time I go to make the bed, I have to stretch and prepare myself to be gasping for air at the end of it. So I have a couple of things that I've listed. I have a list here to help keep me on track so that maybe I don't wander off with a sentence. But along the same lines of the bedding area, the cabinets above the bed, while I like having them there for storage, I don't like them there because I sleep on that side of the bed and I feel really closed in back there. I've mentioned in my Tipsy Tour video that I have sat up before in the bed and hit my head on the cabinets. So I try to be mindful of that now, but it does feel a little closed in back there. So if you are a claustrophobic person, consider this if you are looking at buying the Soul Horizon. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, I deal with it. Okay, so continuing with making the bed. Another reason why it is so difficult to make the bed, it's the shelves in the corner. They're awful. I like them, I use them, but if they were maybe raised up a little bit more, I don't know what model it's in. I think maybe the Dawn. Wherever the dinette is in the back and that converts to a bed, the shelves are higher because of the setup. So I really think that Intech should put the shelves higher or try to make some sort of thing where you can remove the shelves easily and put them right back in. That way you can take them out when you need to make the bed. Either that or you just get the quick zip sheets and you don't have to worry about it. So I think that the shelves need to be raised up, and I think that the outlets that are under one of the shelves, there's a 110 outlet and then there is a 12-volt outlet for charging, which I never really use it. I think people that we've had stay in the camper overnight on our property here when they come to stay at our house, I think that they use it to charge their phone, but I don't. It's not in a great spot. If we wanted to get a thicker mattress, we wouldn't be able to because of the shelf and because of the outlet. The outlet almost needs to be on top of the shelf, like above it or something like that. Where it is, it doesn't make much sense, but it's not a huge deal. I don't really use it. Getting under the bed. I hate this more than making the bed. Not that I have to do it very often, but I do like being able to get under there and make sure nothing has shifted or is leaking, and I quite frankly don't feel very safe doing it by myself. So today I have to work on some maintenance stuff with the camper before I take it out next weekend. And I was getting ready to lift the bed up so that I can check the water pump and other things down there, but the mattress that I have is a memory foam mattress, and it is heavy, and I just don't feel safe propping up my door and going under there myself. I can just see it falling on me and knocking me out or something. That I'm probably being dramatic with that, but I'm actually going to wait until Johnny gets home today so that he can kind of help hold the mattress up. And it wouldn't be as big of a deal if the drawer that's under the bed wasn't there, because I could just prop my little thing up right there, but I don't want to damage the cabinet part right there. I don't know if I'll try to insert a clip of it so you can kind of see. I have propped it in this one spot a couple of times, and I feel like if I continue to do that over time, it's going to warp the board or something. I don't know. I'm very, very particular in how I take care of my things when it comes to like camper and toys and whatnot. I want to keep them as like good as possible in case I ever do want to sell it or whatever. So yeah, if that drawer wasn't there or something, I don't know. Now there's somebody in our group that has a Soul Horizon who modified something under the bed where it works on a remote control and a gas strut system that you can just press a button and it will lift that up for you. I would like to find somebody in my area who could do that for me. I don't know how to do it. I don't know if Johnny or his dad would know how to do it, but I would like to have something like that installed. Again, I don't feel safe sticking my head under there when I'm working in the camper by myself. On to the next thing, tank space. I can only go so long without having to empty the tanks. Most of the time we are staying at a campground that does not have sewer hookups. There's a dump station, but you know, by the time we stay 2 nights, that next morning, my tanks are about full. So I don't understand how people can go 3, 4, 5 days in this camper without having to dump their tanks. You know, we want to be able to go boondocking sometime. We have not done that yet, but we want to figure that out. And I'm sure that if I didn't have to do any dishes and I maybe didn't take showers in here every night, I could go 3 or 4 or 5 nights. I don't know. We haven't really had a chance to work with that. Whenever we do go to campgrounds that have dump stations, we are washing dishes, taking military showers each night, and then, you know, using the bathroom and blah, blah, blah. But I try to be super mindful of how much water I'm using. So I don't know. I just need to run some tests and see how long I can really go. Now, one way that we are going to kind of help when we are staying at campgrounds that don't have sewer hookups but have a dump station, we have discussed just using the shower at the campground instead of using the shower in the camper. That way I'm not having to be like, stop letting the water, you're letting the water run too long while you're brushing your teeth. I sound like a crazy person at night whenever we're doing all that because I don't want to run out of tank space. I would hate like Saturday afternoon to be like, our tanks are almost full. Now we have to be really careful. There have been a couple of times we have maxed out our tanks at the very end of the trip, and that's just nerve-wracking to me. It's not the most convenient to have to wipe out the shower every single time, although it is not difficult. It'd be nice to not have to do that. So when we stay at campgrounds, we're going to only use the bathroom in here for peeing and pooping, and if we need to take a shower, we're just going to go to the shower house. Also, when you do that, you don't have to take a military shower. You can take a nice, long, hot shower. Sometimes I think that it would be nice to have separate tanks, you know, a gray tank and a black tank versus a combo tank. Simply for the fact that if I want to go boondocking, I can dump gray water where it is allowed. And there's some places that have like gray water disposal, but we can't have that with this camper. Now, with that being said, I also kind of like having a combo tank because, you know, there's soap and everything that would typically go in a gray tank. It's going in the black tank, so it kind of helps to keep it kind of cleanish, I think. I have had no issues with my sensors since I've had the camper. I think that it helps that I do the borax and Dawn solution and, you know, do all the sloshing and everything while I'm driving. But it is kind of a good thing that there's a combo tank. It also makes dumping a lot faster. So, and with the footprint of the Soul Horizon, I don't think that it would be possible to have separate tanks, or at least you wouldn't be able to have big enough tanks. So it's fine, but there are times that I'm like, man, it'd be nice to have just a gray tank and just a black tank versus a combo, but it is what it is. Okay, I've also talked about this in my Tipsy Tour video, and anybody who is from the Soul Horizon group on Facebook has seen me complain about this multiple times too. The new Dinette Bed Setup is awful. It's awful. And I've seen other people starting to complain about it too. It's not easy to make the bed. It used to be that the cushion that slides in here to make another bed, another sleeping area, it had a hard backing on it and some tabs, and all you had to do was take the table out, store it in the cabinet up above, or if you just don't take the table with you at all, that's fine too. But all you had to do was slide the cushion into place. And now you don't do that. Now you have to put a shorter pole under the table, strap the cushion to the table, and I hate it. I hate it so much because you have to lift up all the cushions and get it just right on the little shorter pole, and I despise it. I despise it so much. I actually contacted Intech and said, can I buy a new cushion? Can y'all just make me one how you used to? I will pay you for it. And they're like, no. So, Intech, if you ever decide to go back to it, I will still pay for a new cushion. I've also considered getting some plyboard or whatever and cutting out the size of the table and sewing, because I have great sewing skills. I'll figure it out. But kind of making my own cushion how they used to, that's probably going to have to be something that we're just going to have to do, because I hate the dinette setup with a burning passion. And we don't use the dinette as a bed area very often, but I've used it more than I thought I was going to. Anytime we take the dogs camping, this is set up as a bed. And I just have to set it up as a bed the entire time, because I'm definitely not setting it up and taking it down while we're out. It's just, you can eat in your lap. The hitch capacity that's on the back, the newer ones, they are doing, I think, 175 pounds. Mine's only 100 pounds, and you can't really carry that much on the back with 100 pounds. You know, we have e-bikes. It would have been nice to be able to put at least one e-bike, absolutely 2 e-bikes back there, but we can't because it just isn't heavy duty enough, I guess. But Intech did fix that. They started making a heftier cargo capacity on the hitch on the back. So if you are looking at buying one, don't you worry, they got you taken care of in that department now. So the cargo carrying capacity in the Soul Horizon isn't too terribly much. So I'm trying to remember, I want to say that my camper, empty and dry, like as it came from the factory, was 33.75 or something in that neighborhood. That's how much it weighed. But the axle of it can handle up to 3,900 pounds. So by the time you do fresh water, which 28 gallons is 233.52 pounds. So that takes up some of that. We only have around 500 to 525 pounds of cargo carrying capacity. We have paddle boards, those are 25 pounds each. The bikes are pretty heavy, so my new one, the ones that we used to have were 73 pounds each. We got rid of those and got some different bikes that will suit us better. My current one, I think, without the battery is like 55 pounds, and then I don't know how much Johnny's new one is. He doesn't have it yet. And then clothes, other stuff, food. By the time we get that all loaded in, I mean, you know, we're looking at another 150 pounds maybe. I don't know, I'm estimating on that. This is a very tongue-heavy trailer. Very tongue-heavy. So I think mine is 520 pounds. I have it all written down somewhere. But like without the propane tanks, it was heavy, and then when you had the propane tanks full, that just adds more weight. So the good thing about that is it kind of helps with sway, but it kind of sucks to put all that pressure on the back end of my car, but it's okay. My car can handle it just fine. what we have to do is just load some stuff in my car, and then we load some stuff in here, and we just try to distribute the weight as best as we can. Alright, so just to recap, I dislike the bed and making the bed and getting under the bed. Not a ton of tank space, but it works for what we do most of the time. I will report back on that too as we do some boondocking trips and I can test that out. I will have to say that we are looking at getting our septic done here at the house to where I can dump my tanks at home. So I can maybe run some tests here at home of like, how long can we really go on our tanks with fresh water, you know, showering, going to the bathroom. I'd like to try to camp for a weekend in the backyard, like exactly how we would do it in the mountains, just to see how far we can go. But gotta get the septic tank done first. I hate the Dinette Bed Setup so much. And the hitch and cargo carrying capacity. So now let's move on to the things that I don't understand. My phone will just like start recording on its own. What motion do I do? I just tried to fix the contact in my eye. Do you like that phone? Alright, things that I still love. The windows and the lights. I love it so much. Although I do have to say that the panel of the light switches as you come in the door, some of the lights are starting to go out. Not a huge deal. I'm sure it's an easy fix. Haven't bothered to look at it, but still love the windows and the lighting so much. Alright, so it is relatively easy to tow. I do tow it with an SUV. Like I said, I have a 2017 Mercedes GLE 350. It is not a 4MATIC, so it's just rear wheel drive, right? Yeah, it's rear wheel. I think that's right. I do not have a weight distribution hitch or sway bars. I don't have weight distribution because I have heard that you shouldn't have it on a unibody chassis, and that is what my car is. So I really don't need weight distribution or sway bars on it when we are doing our shorter trips around Georgia when we're not on the interstate. I hardly notice sway at all. But when we take it on the interstate, I do have to be mindful of how fast I'm going. I have to pay attention constantly to, you know, other cars, trucks, buses that pass us, and I have to kind of brace myself for a little bit of sway. But my car is heavier than the camper. I'm very mindful of how we load it. You want to load things over the axle, lower to the ground as much as you possibly can, and you know, you still want to have things evenly distributed, but over the axle and low to the ground is what you want to do. And then I do the same kind of thing in the car. We try to evenly distribute the weight in the car without exceeding the car's carrying capacity, and that helps with sway. So the car is heavier than the camper. The car has sway control integrated in it too, but you know, haven't had any major issues, thankfully. Still love the kitchen area and the sink, even though there's not that much counter space in here compared to a lot of campers. No, that's a big deal for people. They're like, there's not a lot of counter space. And there really isn't in here, but if you're not having to use the stove or the sink and you just need counter space, you can, you know, that whole area can be a counter. You can also use the table as counter space if you need to. We usually have a bird set up here with a perch, so that's not the best setup for us. There have been people that have added like a drop leaf table or whatever you want to call it on the end. I'll try to insert some photos of that too to kind of show you how people have extended their countertop space. Another modification that we're going to do, I've mentioned this before, I want to have a Lagoon table mount. Again, it's expensive, so we have not bought it yet, but that will hopefully come this year, dagnabbit. That's going to make life easier as far as like accessing the cabinets here, since Cricket's perch is usually set up on this table. We're always having to turn it and shimmy around. But I have seen some people with their Lagoon table mount, they mount it on the other side of the dinette where they can kind of shift it and make that extra countertop space. My biggest thing with the sink is how big it is. Sometimes I just don't want to do the dishes. I'll set them to the side and we can still use the other side of the sink. So I really love the kitchen sink. We use the stove every now and then, so that's been great. I'm inserting this clip here to show other ways that I use the kitchen sink. So again, you can see how big it is. This is the little mat that comes with the sink. So you roll it out, that extends the counter space. You can fold it in half, use that side of the sink, and use the other side for counter space. Or you can flip it to the other side and do the same kind of thing. I love, love, love the little mat that comes with the sink. It's incredible. Bathroom. I do still love the bathroom. Like I mentioned before, we are going to start showering at campground showers, unless for some reason the campground showers are just absolutely disgusting, and we're not very picky, honestly. You know, the shower is fine. Again, it's not that hard to get it all dry. We have been in some sites that aren't quite as level, and if you're not perfectly level, it's really a booger to get all the water down the drain, but it's really not a big deal. I love having a toilet whenever you need to have it right there at your campsite. But I love the space in the bathroom. I love it all. The one thing that I wish that the bathroom had is a window. I'm very envious of campers that have windows in the bathroom. I don't know why. I guess I like to see outside when I'm doing my duty. Now, one way you can kind of work around that is if no one is sitting in the camper with you and you don't have to worry about anybody else coming in and out of the camper, you can just sit on the toilet with the door open and look out the kitchen window, because it's a small camper and you can do that. But, look, you know, sometimes your partner's in the camper with you and doesn't want to hear you taking a poopy. I love the modern interior and the style of this camper. It's really hard for me to see campers that I like the colors and everything on the inside. Too many companies are still using dated looking materials, so I love Intech for that. I love, 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 love the looks in here. It's just, every time I walk in the camper, I'm like, oh, yeah. I love the outside kitchen so much. So if you are someone who is looking for a Soul Horizon, you're not sure, you know, I don't know if I want to spend the extra money on the outdoor kitchen, I don't know if I'm going to use it very often, you may not. There's some people that wish that they didn't get the outdoor kitchen. We love the outdoor kitchen. We use it every time we go camping. We're always using the griddle. We always use the outdoor refrigerator. So if I had to do it over again, I would absolutely get the outdoor kitchen. I'm going to do a little plug here. The awning that comes on the camper does not cover the outdoor kitchen, so if you are looking for something to cover that outdoor kitchen in the event of rain or the sun's just beating down on you, I highly recommend the Moonshade. Now, the Moonshade is lightweight, it is small and compact when it's packed down, and it's easy to set up with just one person. It can be easier with two people, but I can set the Moonshade up by myself anytime I want. I've talked about it in another video, but I'm not a big fan of the pop-up canopies and everything that require more than one person to set up. I don't like how heavy they are, I don't like how much room they take up, so the Moonshade is something that I absolutely had to have, and we are so happy that we bought it. And with that being said, thank you so much to those of you who have used our coupon code to buy the Moonshade. I really appreciate it, and I hope that we can share more products with you that we love, and hopefully you'll love them too. So let's go back to the bed and talk about the positive stuff with it. So I don't know if Intech is still doing this, or if they just did it for a short time, or if I just got really lucky, but a lot of times when you get a camper from the factory, you got crappy, cheap mattresses that are on it. Well, we have a memory foam mattress, and I love it. I think it's actually pretty comfortable. When we first got it, it's comfortable, but it's not that comfortable. What made it extra comfortable was the Froley system. So that's the little underlayment system that helps with condensation, airflow, all that kind of stuff. It helps to prevent mold from getting under the bed, but it also kind of acts as like a spring system, so it does make the bed more comfortable. I don't really care to add anything else to the bed. We don't need a topper on it. We have a, a mattress pad cover that has a little bit of cushion on it, but it's plenty comfortable, and we have slept very good in it. I'm still loving the Dinette Space. It's a big dinette for this size camper. It's, the U shape. I love the view that you get with it. Welcome to my driveway. It's comfortable. I mean, you've got just pretty much a 360 view. It's marvelous. So this was one big big selling point for me. The window, the dinette that's in the window. I know there's some people that have said, I wish that the bed was at the window. Nope. Because I sleep in my bed. I don't want to sit in my bed all day and look out the window, but I will sit in the dinette and look out my window. Yes, I will. Storage space. So I feel like this has plenty of storage space, especially for when we use it. We're usually out for 2 or 3 nights. We've taken it on 1 week-long trip, and I was concerned that there wasn't going to be enough storage space, but we haven't had any issues at all. Now, we are still kind of figuring out how, is the best way to use the storage space, but we've had no issues at all with anything. We have kind of caught ourselves being lazy with certain things, like, sticking our shoes under the table here and this gets all cluttered up. Again, I want the Lagoon table mount so that we can shift the table out of the way and easily access stuff up here. I don't like to store stuff up here that I've got to grab a lot because moving around the table is not easy. So Lagoon table mount. You got the 3 cabinets here. You have storage space under one of the dinette sides. Not easy to access, so I would recommend storing stuff down there that you don't hardly ever need to get to. It's not something you've got to get in and out of it every day, but if it's like, oh, I need that one thing, let me grab it and use it this one time, kind of thing. There are people that have done modifications where you can pull a drawer out right there. I would like to do that, but I don't know. I'm weird about like cutting things and doing things like that. Like, what if I mess up and then it looks like crap? So, yeah, I'm already nervous about doing the Lagoon table mount because we're going to have to drill and put stuff in the dinette, but it's going to be fine because I'm going to pray about it. You got a drawer under the refrigerator, you've got a drawer under the bed, you've got 4 drawers in the kitchen, cabinets under the kitchen sink, and then 3 cabinets above the bed and 2 cabinets above the kitchen sink. So, there really is plenty of space. Oh yeah, and you got cubby holes. Who doesn't love cubby holes? But like I said, we are still constantly trying to figure out what's the best way to use all of these storage cabinets. So if I had to order this camper all over again, what would I do differently? This is something that wasn't an option, but I would absolutely go with lithium batteries and a solar option on the roof. Must have. Even though we don't boondock a lot, I like the option. I would absolutely just go ahead and pay the extra money for the lithium and the solar. It's going to cost us probably a few $1,000s to get that done, and that certainly is not in my budget right now. So we just have to work with what we have. I already have solar panels, but they're portable. They aren't mountable to the roof, I don't think. I don't know how that works, but I also don't know how much room is really up there for the panels that I have. And then we just have a regular 1 lead acid battery. I'd like lithium, but that will come later down the line. So if I were to order now, I would absolutely say I want the solar package straight from the factory. Better steps. There's only 1 step, and I have the Rover package, so my camper has a little bit of a lift on it. It works fine. We have to be careful, but like my grandpa, he's tried to get in and out of the camper, and it's kind of a tricky step. You can add a step modification on there. We will probably also do that in the future, but it's just not on my priority list right now, so maybe that'll come in the next year or 2. My priority is this Lagoon table mount. Speaking of the Lagoon table mount, it would be cool if there was an option, like from the factory, to add better steps, but especially to add the Lagoon table mount. Now, I can understand why they probably don't include this option just straight from the factory, because people might want to mount it in different places. I've seen people mount it on this side, in the middle, on that side, but maybe Intech you could say, hey, do you want the Lagoon option? Alright, do you want it mounted here, 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 and y'all just set it up for people? I don't know, that would be nice, but it doesn't seem like it's difficult for people to install. I don't know, I haven't done it yet, obviously. And then more hitch capacity, more hitchage. Is that a word? We're gonna make it a word. More hitchage on the back of the camper. Again, they're doing this now from Intech, so that's great. Okay, so do I still love the camper? Do we still love the camper? Yes, still love this camper so much. I have seen other campers that have definitely, piqued my interest, my curiosity. Ember RV, new company. They have absolutely piqued my interest, but I don't, just from what I've seen, I don't love it enough to want to get rid of this one. They don't have as many windows, they don't have as much storage capacity from what I can see, but they have a lot of really cool features, so check out Ember RV as well. And then there's a couple of Grand Design trailers that I've seen that I like the floor plan, but it would require us to upgrade my vehicle, and that's not happening anytime soon. I really still feel like this camper is absolutely perfect for us. Obviously, no camper is actually perfect, but you can find something that is just about perfect for your situation, and this camper checks all those boxes. Plenty of room in here without being too big of a trailer. You know, I feel very comfortable hauling it myself. It's easy to deal with. I love the camper, and I would absolutely buy it over and over and over again. I love it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helped you if you are considering getting a Soul Horizon. I know whenever I was looking at the Soul Horizon, I wanted to watch review videos and see how people were still liking their camper, because you really can't get a good feel for something until someone has had something for at least a year. So thank you for watching. I hope it helps. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. You can comment below, you can send me a DM on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email. I will put the email down below. But yeah, thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one.